India is one step closer to its dream of being a Maoist-free country. Telangana is on the verge of becoming a Maoist-free state, marking a major success story for the state government's security and rehabilitation strategy. Today, the four senior leaders of the banned CPI Maoist organization surrendered after decades of being underground in a sensational operation by Telangana Police and the Special Intelligence Bureau. Top Maoist leaders, Devuji, also known as the Tippiri Tirupati, who was underground for 44 years, has been taken into custody. He had risen to the top of the Maoist hierarchy after the killing of Nambala Keshava Rao. All four of them surrendered before the Telangana DJPB Shivadhar Reddy. This has effectively broken the backbone of the group's top leadership. This is being seen as a decisive blow to the CPI Maoists and a strong endorsement of Telangana's firm and humane approach to tackling extremism. The turnaround follows a clear direct appeal by the Chief Minister Revanth Reddy, who urged Maoist cadres to give up violence and rejoin society to take part in Telangana's development journey. The response has been significant, with senior leaders choosing peace over the gun. In just over 2025 and 2026, 544 underground Maoist cadres surrendered before Telangana Police. This includes top-level leaders and several committee members. The numbers highlight the scale of impact Telangana's policy had on weakening the Maoist network. As of today, only 11 underground Maoist cadres are native of Telangana and just 2 remain active within the state. Most have either surrendered or moved out, underscoring the state's success in restoring peace and stability. Security officials say that the continuous operations, shrinking local support, leadership splits and loss of direction has pushed the Maoist organization towards collapse. The central leadership is now reduced to a single active member.
There are 11 cadres still remaining underground who are natives of Telangana, and that includes Ganapati also, Muppala Lakshman Rao alias Ganapati also, and apart from Lakshman Rao, the remaining 10 among the remaining 10, only 1 or 2 are active cadres. The rest are all not very active, and I've already given the appeal, already made an appeal to them to come out and lay down arms and come out in the open. There's nothing left in the party now, nothing left in the movement now. So the movement which began in Telangana is now almost at the end of its run in Telangana. We have been pursuing these leads, and we have established contact with them for the past more than a year. So somehow it took some time for us to naturally they have their own apprehensions, they have their own inhibitions, and we have to break those inhibitions and apprehensions, and we made them somehow understand that the government is not as bad as you think. So that's how they came out.
So the big question, why is anti-Naxal policy succeeding now? Can Maoists regroup in future? And what has worked in the last 10 years against Maoists? On this issue, I am joined by MP Nathaniel, former DGP CRPF, and Sanjay Sahai, senior retired IPS officer. Thank you both of you for joining me. Mr. Nathaniel, my question to you is, 15 years ago, if someone would have asked this question, how long will it take to free Maoists of Telangana? You know, people would have thought for a couple of hours and would have given some timeline. But now, the state is virtually free of Maoists, Telangana. So, how has that happened?
In fact, I feel that the government has done quite a lot of work during the last decade or so. And that is by virtue of inducting more forces in that area, because the situation in certain other states had improved considerably. That enabled them to pull out the troops from Northeast especially, and some from J&K also. They were inducted in this region of Chhattisgarh. And because Abujmad was an area where it was appearing to be impenetrable, the best thing that they did was to have the roads constructed in that area. Because without the roads, it was difficult for the security forces to enter those areas without suffering casualties. Whenever in the past our Jawans have gone inside, on the way back they had suffered casualties because they are generally very tired when they are returning, and they are in a hurry to return to their base also. That was the reason they were able to inflict heavy casualties on the security forces. But with the construction of roads in these areas now, the forces take hardly any time to reach any place, and they have been able to penetrate the Abujmad area. The forests are now within the grip of security forces. We have Cobra battalions and CRPF battalions who have established forward operating bases in these places. About 70 of them have been established. Because of that, the access of the Maoists to the villagers has been completely cut off. And on the other hand, the villagers are now able to pass on the information regarding Maoist movement to the security forces. Number two is the intelligence setup. The intelligence gathering has become so robust that on pinpoint information, the forces are able to reach those particular places and conduct operations and inflict
Okay.
heavy casualties also.
Okay. But
So that's never expected in the past.
okay. Okay. Mr. Sai, but if you look at the larger pan-India Maoist strategy, it has worked very well in last 10 years. I mean, so the Home Minister had categorically said that by the target is 2026 March that India should be Maoist free.
Primarily what has happened is just before this government came into action, it was supposedly a red corridor from Andhra Pradesh till
Yes.
Kathmandu. And breaking it from there and bringing it to a situation as it stands today, it can be the most commendable action against any of these terror groups, if we call them as a terror group or a very coordinated, integrated terror group, which
Yes.
has also international ramifications.
Absolutely.
To bring them to book is something which was unimaginable, undeniably unimaginable. I was I was an election observer in 2013 in a place called Kanker, which is in your Bastar area. And the first threatening was, or the threat was to us only. And in the earlier elections, I think there was a helicopter which was also shot down. The situation was so bad that out of the 11 people who died in my area, I think only 3 or 4 were killed in Naxalite action, and 8 died out of heart attack. So this is where we started from and conducting an election in that particular area. I also wrote an article which remains unpublished. I did not publish it, where I said that every 5 years the government visits these areas. And there is some 4,000, 5,000 square kilometers, I think, which still remains unsurveyed, if my understanding is right. So that is where we are. So first and foremost, what is extremely important is the political will. So there might be any number of things which would have gone right or wrong, but there is a very clear-cut political will. If we take 2 of the operations last year, I think one was in Bijapur in Chhattisgarh and second was also in on the Chhattisgarh-Telangana border, Karigutta Hills. So one had nearly 3,000 personnel and the other had 10,000 personnel, inclusive of helicopters. Now, if this is the nature of operations which you indulge in, and simultaneously, as my co-panelist talked about, that developmental work, he has restricted it to road. I will take it a step further. That there's a good amount of developmental work which was done by the government and which went in the name of the government. When I've seen in the Bastar area, when the government was doing some developmental work, first it was objected upon, and the second was if it happened, the Naxalites claimed that because of their force, that developmental work has happened. Undeniably, with the digital network, I think we have a much better control of intelligence than it was earlier. Okay. We were pretty comfortable and professional on the ground level intelligence. But added the digital intelligence, and we talk what we call as ELIT, that is the electronic evidence. There's a huge new world which has been opened to us. And I personally feel that the Naxalites of today might be they are not as conversant with this particular technology, or might be we have been able to curtail the tech resources coming from outside. There was a time you could get AK-47. I don't think in the last 2 years we have a cache of AK-47 worth its name. Say 5 weapons, 10 weapons, might be 1 or 2 which would have been in their control. So that has continued. Now from somewhere in 2024 to today, I think every single day has been a coordinated, calibrated battle based on actionable intelligence against the Naxalites. So that is where we are. I think only from 24 to 26, some 520 of these Naxalites have been killed. And the beauty of the whole thing, supported by intelligence, huge amount of resources being made available, all these have been joint operations. What Andhra has been able to achieve It started with Andhra, it started with greyhounds, it started with huge amount of work which was done in Andhra. It came under control to a reasonable degree. The whole thing moved on to Chhattisgarh and
Okay.
Orissa, and where these operations started yielding fruits, and the best was 2025.
Okay, let me take closing comment from Mr. MP Nathaniel. I'm running short of time, sir. Is there a possibility of these organizations ever regrouping? You know, some surrender, some go to rehab. But is there a possibility? There was a time, 20 years ago, we were shown there's a red corridor, as he very rightly pointed out, Mr. Sahai, from Kathmandu down to Gadchiroli to other areas. Is there a possibility that they can regroup?
In fact, I would say that the possibility cannot be completely ruled out also. In fact, there are some problems with the surrendered Naxalites. They feel that they are not being given the due recognition and the compensation that they are expecting to get. In fact, recently I read that one girl by name Vasanta, she has complained that neither Chhattisgarh government is providing her the compensation, nor is Telangana government. So these kind of things can rebound later on, and these fellows can join the next group again. Of course, more or less has been completely vanquished, but the possibility cannot be ruled out in case the governments do not take the necessary action to rehabilitate them in the right manner.
Okay.
Any loss in that, any problem in that is likely to create the problem again.
I think that's a very fine observation. Thank you both of you for joining me.